Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Water Bear podcast. And tonight we are on episode 7. So I'm really excited. We're a little bit over halfway through the season. And just to get a couple of quick things out of the way, of course, again, welcome to the show. If this is your first time watching, thank you. Hopefully, you go back and watch some of the past episodes and catch all of the future episodes that are coming up too. If you like what you see and what you hear, then also remember to subscribe and join the family and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of any content that pops up on the site. Also, you can catch the drip every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So just a quick note, and I'll mention this again at the end of the show. We will not be doing an episode next week because next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So taking about a week break or so, but we will be back on regular schedule the week following. So just a quick reminder there. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. So dressed in pink and green. I got these pink and green lights because my sister, and actually it goes way beyond this because we were friends even before I got into Alpha Phi Alpha. So it doesn't have anything. I mean, that's part of a small part, I'd say, of our friendship, but it's not a big piece of it at all. So my sister, she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Michelle Buggs, and I'm so glad to have her on the show tonight. So if you've been watching the promos and you know she is a Capricorn, so we're going to get into some of these Capricorn traits. A lot of history kind of being made this season because she's the first female Capricorn that I've had on the show. I have had a male Capricorn on the show before, but she is the first female. So I'm definitely glad that she is the first. So I'm going to get into those traits. And she also has a travel business. So definitely want us to get into that as well. And you can follow her on social media. Those are her accounts that are scrolling across the bottom. If you're listening, I'll go ahead and call it out too. So on Instagram, it's Shelly and then the letter B _free, or at escape _letter N _grace. Both of those are on IG. So make sure you go and follow her. And before I bring her on, I always give a famous Aquarius and a famous Capricorn, or whoever the guest their sign is as well. So famous Aquarius, I kind of feel a little indifferent about this person. I'm not hating on her, but hey, she's famous, so I'll go ahead and just say who she is. Paris Hilton, she is an Aquarius. So yeah, there's that. She's famous and she's an Aquarius, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can't say I love her or dislike her, but she fits the bill for what we do at the beginning of this show. A famous Capricorn, I felt like who is perfect for tonight is Michelle Obama. So another Michelle that is very, very famous. So everybody knows her. And so we're going to go ahead and get into tonight's episode. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Michelle out. Hey, Shelly. I started to have your name up there as Shelly, and they'd be like, "Who is that?"
Right. Is it with the S or is it with the CH?
Right.
The S. Okay.
Yes. So thank you, first of all, for being on the show. Really appreciate it. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join me tonight.
Of course.
Yes, I appreciate it. So I got to ask this question because I ask it to everybody that comes on here. So What is, of course, I know what it is, but what is your birthday for everybody who's watching and listening?
My birthday is January 14th.
Yeah, January 14th. Okay. So I got to ask you this. What do you think is the difference, if there is a difference, between January and December Capricorns? Do you feel like there's a difference?
See, I asked you if I needed to study.
Well, it's like it's whatever you think.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I don't like being unprepared.
You did ask me that too, and I was like, well, I can't
I
give.
don't like being unprepared. Maybe that's the difference. Okay, look, we are on our P's and Q's. Okay, we come prepared.
Yes, Capricorns are definitely on it. Yeah.
Look, we don't like being caught off guard. I don't like being caught off guard. Let me forgive you. Let me forgive you. Yeah, I mean, look, January Capricorns, as far as I know, and I know a handful. I mean, we really are organized.
Yes, I agree.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
And, like I said, we don't like being caught off guard. Like I like my stuff in order. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are I don't know. I mean, I've heard we're very loyal. Very loyal.
I would agree. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a difference between December and January, but January babies are probably more loyal. I mean, January Capricorn is just better, but that's just my opinion.
Well, now I will say I know more January Capricorns, but I do feel that if I had to pick a difference, I feel like the December ones are a little more, I don't want to say standoffish, but a little more reserved. And maybe that's because they're coming right after Sagittarius. And I know sometimes they kind of get that rap too. So maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. But I feel like that's one of the big differences I see is that I feel like the January ones are more outgoing, kind of more warm, inviting. And the December ones are kind of like, I don't know you. What's up? Like,
I would say probably January. We are that way, but because we care so heavy and so hard that it's more of a guarded response versus maybe less on the not caring. Not caring.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, maybe that's why. So I don't know.
Okay, I can see that. I could definitely see that. Huh?
That could be why, potentially.
Right. Okay. So another question I always ask people is, if you had to pick one, what is a sign? And it's okay if you don't have one, but what is a sign that when you see, oh, your birthday is this date, I'm running the opposite way? Do you have a sign that you run from and why?
Look, let me tell you what I didn't know before, but I know now. And it's Leos.
Really? Okay, why is that?
Well, I've known some. But what's funny is my sister is a Leo.
I was just about to say that because originally I wanted y'all both on this episode because I did a poll. And the reason why is because I kind of wanted her to defend this. I did a poll a few months ago asking which zodiac sign has the biggest ego. And Leo won by a landslide, like to the point where even Leos were chiming in and was like, yeah, it's us.
They know it. They know it, which is cool, but it's also a lot to swallow. Like it's a lot to handle. And if you aren't ready for it, then like with my sister, we've grown up together, but we are so different in a lot of ways. It's like I know who she is, so I know what I can handle and not handle. And at this point in our lives, like most times I'm just like, okay, let her do her thing. She's gonna talk her stuff, and and most of the time it is warranted. Like she is excellent at what she does, and she's put in the work also. So there's that. But she well, I'm not just gonna talk about her, but
right. But
she knows, so it's not
right.
But I've also dated a couple, and it's a lot.
Was it okay? So that's an interesting point because I imagine, of course, with your sister, you give her more grace because that's your sister versus dating somebody of that sign. Do you feel like it's those same type of qualities kind of bleed over, or is it different in a dating scenario?
Well, there's similar qualities, but I mean, my sister's my sister, so I can't get rid of her by any means.
Right.
But when it comes to care and patience and giving some grace or understanding and things like that, just even in a general sense, there's not a lot there in my mind, in my experience when it comes to even with my sister. So
really? Okay.
Like how do I don't I ain't trying to talk bad about nobody, but it's just there's just a difference in terms of what it is that I can handle personally as myself, and knowing myself more over time. Like, it's just not something that I personally would want to put up with in a dating situation. Just that level of, I guess, impatience or grace that I might need to be better or learn or things like that. It's not. I've not always found it
with Leos.
Yes. But like when it comes to my sister, we've fought and talked and done all those things. So she knows me at this point. There's probably a lot of things about me that she doesn't necessarily have patience for. I know there's a lot of things about me that she doesn't have patience for, and vice versa. But we love each other through it, and that's just come with life. So
yeah.
But
that's cool. Okay, so Leo, so no Leos. At least as far as dating is concerned.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Cool on them. Huh?
I'm good. It's fine. But I will admit, look, honestly, I've never really been like, oh, what's your birthday? Oh,
right.
I just happen to find out, like, oh, you got the same. Your birthday is around the same time.
It's like, you did this, and then you did this too. So you,
this is familiar.
Yeah. I've seen this before. I followed you today. Yes, right, okay. Yes, I know, right? We can't. Okay, not this early. Okay. Okay, so that's really interesting though, because. And maybe it's the whole, because I'm not like that either. I'm not somebody who says, oh, your birthday is this date. I'm not going to fool with you. It's just more so, if I know your birthday, then maybe I kind of know how to communicate with you or what makes you tick. I think that's more so my thought.
Right.
And to your point about the Leos, I have a lot of Leos in my family. And they're just, I feel like if you get them to budge on something, they really care about you, because they're kind of set. And Aquarius is like that too. I feel like kind of a little set in their ways. So if you can make them shift in any way, like that's big. I feel.
Yes. Well, and I think I figured that out. And so I knew it wouldn't work because they weren't willing to
make that shift
in the ways that they maybe even they admitted were areas that they needed to grow, but it was just like it was either too late, they weren't willing to change, and or they just were too stuck in their ways that if the love and care for me wasn't enough, then it was like, well, this isn't really going to work, because they were really fundamental things that, in terms of my experience in relationships, needed to be compromise or adjustments or whatever, and they weren't willing to do it. Then it was like, well, let's just go ahead and part ways.
It's a wrap at that point.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. So I have another question for you. So if you were to craft, and it could be an existing drink or something that maybe is not even out there, nobody's ever even had it, but you would say this drink represents Capricorn, what would that drink be and why?
Gosh, that's a good question. I'm a whiskey girl, so like I'm a old.
I thought it was maybe going to be something with whiskey when I was thinking of
this. Yeah. I mean, and the reason I like whiskey is because you don't need, like, 2 fingers is enough to really enjoy the flavor. Like, we in our totality, I mean, I guess if you will, like, we are deep individuals. Like, there's a lot to us, but on the surface, it may not seem like a lot, right? Because we're pretty, and I guess I'm thinking more about myself. Like, on the surface, what it may seem like what you see is what you get, but when you get to know me, you get to know me, like, there really is a lot there, because I don't just let everyone in, right? So, like me and you, we could kiki all day.
Hey, right.
And, but that has come with some years of experience and years of.
We've been through a lot of stuff, seen a lot of stuff, and
so, like, at the
gate, people and everything. Oh my God, but not just in conversation. Let me say that. Yeah, not like
no.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of, like, layers there that when you get to know that, like, me as a person, it's just automatically a really enjoyable experience. But if you're getting to know me at the very beginning, it just takes some time to really get to that point. And I think, even when I've had, like, when I first had whiskey, like, I was like, oh, this is it's strong. Like, it may come off, like, really strong. But over time, like, I know what I'm getting. It's very reliable.
Yep.
And, if you want to add a little bit of bitters or a little bit of sweetener, a little
kind of smooth it out.
A little maraschino cherry juice or something like that. The expensive kind, not the cheap kind.
Right. Yeah, not the little
$20 bottle at the
right, not the ones with the little white top you just pop off from Walmart.
The depth,
right.
The syrup, you know what I mean? There's different components that you can add to it to kind of craft it to what you need it to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is a very reliable drink, and it is smooth. And I don't know. Again, you kind of. It's also not something to be rushed at the same time. Like, it's not something you just.
You kind of have to take your time and sip.
You got to take your time with it. And not rush the enjoyment of the beverage. So, I mean, maybe that's my default because it is my favorite drink. But no, I guess that's how I would. If I did have to make a drink in relation to a Capricorn, that may be it. But I'm sure the experts out there may have a better beverage to associate. So.
No, okay. So your answer led me right into the next thing I was going to mention. So I feel like there are 2, maybe 3 signs that are very good with money. And I feel like Capricorn is on that list. I would say Taurus and probably Virgo. I would say maybe the next one.
Okay.
And what's so interesting is the season premiere for this season, the guest that I had on, he's a Taurus, and he said the drink that represents him is an old fashioned. So it's the same. And he gave almost verbatim. It's funny. I wish I could just play it right now because he kind of gave the same reasons why. Okay. And so I feel like when it comes to finances, and even just maybe handling business, I feel like a Taurus and a Capricorn are kind of like kindred spirits. In a way. That's how I'm no expert, but that's just.
Hey, you've been doing this for a minute, okay?
That's what I believe. So with that in mind, so this famous person, now she's a Scorpio. Her birthday was earlier this week. I don't know if you saw the comment that she made, Whoopi Goldberg. on the View about
yes,
by your reaction, I'm thinking you may have heard it. So for anybody who hasn't heard it or you don't know the context, basically she said that Gen Z and millennials, and this whole notion of, you know, people want to do better than their parents, which I think on that piece she's absolutely right. You do want to achieve more and do more that your parents did, and I think it's fair to say if you have kids, you want them to be better than what you are, or, you know, what you've done. But the part that she's really getting ripped for is she said that basically those previous generations, they busted their butt to get where they are. And if you're Gen Z or millennial, kind of insinuating like, oh, well, the reason why things are hard financially is because you only want to work 4 hours a week. And when I heard it, I mean, most stuff she says, because I know she can be a little controversial with her, you know, her statements. And most stuff, I just kind of hear it and just kind of, you know, let it roll off. When I heard that, I was like, what? Because even doing this podcast, it's like, you know, I usually, Thursday is my busiest day at work. So I usually start most days, and even though I primarily work from home, but start at like 8 in the morning. Some days I may take a lunch, or if I do, it's you know, abbreviated lunch. And then I'm working until, you know, a lot of times 6:30, you know, and then I'm like kind of scrambling in between, you know, setting up and get ready for the podcast. Luckily, I have kind of a simple setup. But I say that to say, like, I don't remember the last time I worked a 40-hour week.
Right.
It's always like 48 plus 50 plus, you know, it's always more than that. So I'm just curious to get your perspective, I guess, one, on her comment, and then two, what do you feel like your relationship is with money? And do you feel like it's maybe in some ways tied to you being a Capricorn?
Ooh, loaded. Okay. Look, I've been working since I was 13 years old. Okay. So I have not had a year off, a month off at any point. And but that has a lot to do with my upbringing. And and there's so much context that is missing, and that's why statements like that are so dangerous. Because if you just make a simple comment like, oh, these huge generational groups only want to work 4 hours, you're talking about millions of people who have such diverse experiences growing up. Like, I wasn't forced to work, but my default was, really my reason was my mom said if I didn't want to go back to Arkansas during the summer, I had to get a job. And so
like, to work I go.
And somebody at church said they needed a babysitter, and I was like, hire me. I love babies. I love kids.
Right.
So I started working. That was a 40 hour a week. You know, I was there all day babysitting little kids all day. And then as soon as I turned 15, at the time you could work with permission. So I worked at a pizza shop. And then when I turned 16, I started working at IHOP.
I don't think I knew that you worked at a pizza shop.
I did. It was called Pizzetti's Pizza. It was like CC's. And I worked during the summer with me and my church friends. They all got fired though. And then I followed directions.
I was going to say, I'm sure you probably were the last one standing.
Don't fire me. Nope. That would be a whole shame on myself. Not even it would be a shame on me.
Right.
And then I worked at IHOP for 2 years before I went to college. And they actually asked me to stay on as a manager. And my mom was like, negative, you're going to school. And I think
you have considered it at that time?
Well, because I actually wanted to go into, I enjoyed it so much. Just the interaction with people. I was really good at it. Even though I'm naturally introverted, that type of interaction gave me purpose. So, you know, serving food, and which led to actually many years of like food service type of work. Cause when I got to my senior year, I think in college, I was doing like catering on the side and bartending. And then, but before that, I worked at the Multicultural Center. I was an MPA. And so the only time I maybe was not working was my freshman year of college, which actually that December I went home and worked for the whole month at IHOP and was grinding. And that's how I got the money to cross, actually. As I put that money aside, and my mom was like, if you want to do it, you got to pay for it. And that's the money I used to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I never knew that.
Huh. Yep. The next fall of 3 is when I use that money to cross. And so anyway, I mean, like ever since then though, I've been working, and part of it could be because of my personality, my sign, whatever you want to call it, but I find a lot of self-purpose, like being able to use my time to be productive. I don't really like staying stagnant, and that that also puts me in certain positions where I get exhausted and tired and overwhelmed and, too busy to do certain things. But it is what it is. I mean, like I've been able to do a lot of things because I've worked really hard, and when I've worked hard, I earn money and I save money and I invest my money and do whatever, do things I need to do.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that statement, and that again, I go back to saying that has a lot to do with how I was brought up, because I saw my mom work really hard.
Yeah.
Sister
Bugs. I remember.
Look,
she was working.
And she didn't, and when my parents got divorced, I saw a lot of what happened and how hard she worked. And when I was working at IHOP, she'd be like, can you buy Casey some basketball shoes? And she come in and get mom say you need to buy me some shoes, or I mean, I always joke about, because I would get a bunch of ones, and I come home smelling like syrup and coffee and smoke, and I'd have my money, my ones and stuff in the cash box, and I'd be turning around like, okay, I get my cash box. I'd be handing her some ones like I was coming from a strip.
Let me put my band out and give you my one.
Yeah, here. Ugh, fine.
Right.
Whatever. They better last too. They better last. You be running through shoes like, anyway. So, but I learned the value of, $1, money, working hard, contributing to the household, because I saw how hard my mom worked, and I didn't want to be a burden to her, because she already had, a lot going on. She had people picking me and my sister up and helping her out with just taking care of us. So I didn't want to add to that labor.
Right.
So, she would show me how much she was paying for my school, what wasn't covered. She'd take me down to that bursar's office.
She would show you in real time.
Like, here's this check. You see what this check is?
Right.
And that first time I brought home a C, the only C I ever got, she was like, what is this? I'm not paying for this.
Like, I'm not paying for C's.
She would say that even when we were in high school. We make A's and B's in this house, barely B's. And so she was like, if you earning a C, that means you ain't in the right area, because you smarter than that. So she was like, figure it out. And I changed my major and went on about my business. So, I mean, I try to be a good steward of my money. I pay my tithes, and the Lord has not failed me yet.
Hey,
He has not failed me yet. And even when it feels like I might be a little tight or something like that, unexpected expenses, I mean, I got money in the bank, so that's not a problem. It's just may not be how I wanted to spend it. So,
right.
Yeah.
I've never known you to be frivolous with money. Yeah, I've never known you to be. I mean, really, with anything, I've never really known you to just do anything that wasn't thought out, or there wasn't a good reason behind it, or you just always.
I don't know. Amazon be okay.
Well, that gets all of us, I think.
Like, why do I need this?
Right. Another package, like, this ain't me. Is it me?
So lately, actually, I've been trying to be really diligent about really thinking through if I need it, because what a lot of people don't talk about is the more money you get, the harder it can be to actually steward your finances. You just start to think you deserve more, you need more. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, there's nothing in this corner of the room.
Right.
Maybe I need to do something. Fill this space up. Like, why?
Yeah.
So that can be hard to really be disciplined with yourself, and having, of course, a budget, knowing about how you envision your life in terms of retirement, taking care of yourself. I'm not married, so I'm at this point, I'm not anticipating this double income, double retirement, or whatever. It's gonna be me. I got to take care of myself, and ain't no telling if Social Security gonna be around at that point. So,
right, the way it's going,
I got to figure this out. So I got to, like things like that, knowing where you need to maybe sacrifice earlier so that you can be stable later on. Those are things that even people in Gen Z, millennials, whoever, just paying more attention to that and owning it for yourself, and not expecting someone to come save you or take care of you, because that is not a guarantee by any means. And I learned that very early on, just again, seeing my mom and being like, well, if I want to do something, she was like, you're going to have to pay
what
for
you
it.
need to do to. I think, in all fairness, I feel like, and not to make a generalization, but I feel like a lot of people, specifically, not so much millennials, but I think one thing I admire about a lot of people that fall into Gen Z is they're almost kind of born like, I'm not taking no mess. And I feel like in some situations, professionally, for me, I wish I had a little bit more of that, because I feel like maybe I would be a little bit further along. But then the flip side of that, to your point, is, nobody's going to give you any handouts. And if you do happen to get them, that's cool. Like, hey, you happen to get it, but that's not the norm. And I feel like, kind of going back to the whole Whoopi Goldberg comment, whenever you make blanket statements and say, oh, everybody this, or they always that, that's always dangerous, because it's like, maybe some or a lot, but to say everybody's one way, because I even like talking to people like that, some people that like boast about their salaries and things like that. And I feel like I make a decent salary, but my thing is, the real test is, or the real, I don't know what the word is I'm trying to use, but is, how many bills do you have? What are your expenses? Like you said, when you make more, a lot of times people feel like they have to spend more. I used to work at Frito-Lay, and one of the directors there, I don't think he realizes it, but he was one of the best examples that I saw as far as being a good steward of your money. He had to be making at least six figures back then, so I can only imagine what he makes now. And the whole time I was at Frito-Lay, 9 years, I think I saw him buy his lunch 10 times. He always brought his lunch. His car was very unassuming. I think he drove like some kind of green Chevrolet or something, nothing flashy, nothing like that. And maybe he could have been flashy in other ways that I didn't see. I don't know. But just saying to say, on the surface, you wouldn't think he made that type of money.
Because you never really know what people have going on. Like the number of people who are taking care of their parents or family members because they don't have retirement accounts, or cannot have jobs because they have health issues. I mean, I'm paying part of a daycare bill that I was not anticipating paying. And it's and that's a personal family situation, but it's like, if I did not have the capacity, the space, even just in saving on a month-to-month basis, when this situation came up and there was a real need to take care of this child that I love with all of my heart, then because they need that care, that education or whatever, and I have no problem doing it. I am glad to give part of my salary and my, month to month expenses to take care of that. But that also means that I'm having to, take away from other areas that I was contributing to before. So, I mean, things like that, especially in this day and age, you have to think really practically because the world is crazy. The world is crazy. Yeah. The definition of family has changed over time. Who you might need to care for, what benefits and what privileges we have assumed before may not be there tomorrow. So it really is smart on it would be beneficial for everybody to think in those ways and really think like, okay, is this purchase absolutely necessary?
Right.
So, but it can be a learning curve. Everyone always jokes about, like, my family especially, they'd be like, oh, Michelle got millions in the bank because like that is not the case. But I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. If something happens, you're not going to be.
Which I got that advice early. They was, like, you need to have 6 months to a year worth of savings saved up in case something happens. And part of me is like, that's the fearful part of Michelle. Like, well, I don't want to go hungry. I like to eat,
Right. I like chicken too. I like Cheetos, right?
A cookie every now and then.
Right.
Let me a little treat, okay? I can't do that if I don't have no money saved up. So
yeah, you ain't lying. That's true.
I like chicken.
Yes. But no, that's true. I mean, you do have to be prepared and be ready for those things. I just feel like you said, it's largely probably part of your upbringing.
Yes, very much.
I think maybe a little bit of the sauce on top of it too is because you are Capricorn. Maybe it could be another piece of it.
Yes. Me and my sister don't. I mean, we talk finances here and there. She, she's fine as well. Better than me, but but also, when it comes to like spending and stuff, like we in some ways we do make different decisions.
Of what,
but both very still practical, which I think that's the part that is our upbringing, right? Like, you saw the same things I did. We just experienced it in different ways because I'm the older sister, she's the younger sister, and so on. But I'm sure, like, when you get down to the details, there are going to be some differences just based on our values and our life experiences and where we're currently at in our lives. So it just depends. But there's a lot of detail and context that goes into how we make decisions, and again, that blanket assumption it's just not fair. It's not a fair assumption.
Right. I agree. Okay. So before we get into a little bit of the personal stuff and your business, the travel, which is, I feel like it's funny because you work so much, but then I also see you traveling too. And then you have this travel business. And so sometimes I'm like, dang, how does she even have the time to do both or juggle both things? So I definitely want to get into that. But one final zodiac question that I want to ask you is, what do you think is Capricorn's superpower, if you had to pick one, and why?
Gosh, we are like unassumingly, fiercely loyal and protective. Like, it really is, it's not a flashiness.
No.
By any means, But when it comes down to like taking care and ensuring that the ones we love and like deeply love and are loyal to, we're the ones you want to call.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, very
yeah.
loyal. I agree.
Like, there's literally nothing I wouldn't do for my people.
Right.
My people.
Right.
The ones that know me, the ones that I know, like there's just been so much deep exposure to our souls and inner being that, you know, there literally is nothing that I wouldn't like do for you, my sister.
The same for me too.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure many people can say that, but I think for Capricorns, it's kind of like this. Like I said, it's not this flashy. It's not flashy by any means, but if you know it about us.
I agree. It's kind of like an innate thing that y'all have a little bit, and like you said, it's not flashy, but I feel like you also know when a Capricorn feels that way about you. Like they don't have to say it; you just know that that's how they feel.
Yes, which can also be a weakness because if it's with the wrong person.
Oh yeah, then they might try to take advantage. That's true. That's true.
A Leo, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh.
They be like, well, I know you feel this way. And I'm like, oh, can I take it back? Jesus.
Right.
I don't want to be like this no more. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to take care of it.
So I guess I lied a little bit. So I know you said Leo, as far as dating, would be the one that you would probably run from. Maybe not totally, but probably run from. Who do you think, which sign, and this doesn't necessarily have to be in dating, but which sign would you say is like your ace of the zodiac? Like you,
Taurus. Taurus.
Oh, that's crazy what I said, and I didn't even know that. Oh, that's funny.
Yes,
I can see that.
Definitely Taurus. And I'm thinking of a few people in particular. Because that's what. Okay, wait, correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's Taurus. What's the dates?
They are April, like late April,
early May, right?
Early May, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So yeah, there's a couple people that I'm like those are my people. One in particular I grew up with.
Okay.
We don't always see eye to eye, but that's my like that like we are deep in, and another one of my girlfriends, she is like we met maybe about 8 to 10 years ago, and as soon as we met, it was like, and I don't know what it is, but it's like my other half in a way.
Okay.
You know, like the parts that are good and strong. It's like they bring it. They are that on the surface. And so it's just nice to like see that mirror image, but see it really be a visual representation.
Get another person.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely Taurus.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So let's get into this travel. So how did you get started with your travel business? And if you could just tell us a little bit about it and what it all entails, and how people can learn more.
Yeah. So first, it is not my full-time job. That is not my full-time.
Say, let me throw that disclaimer out.
Okay. And actually part of it was kind of a practical decision. I had been thinking about it a little bit before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh, glad I didn't really. I mean, I looked into it a little bit, but and then, but I've always loved to travel. I've been, my mom would take us on trips, at least twice a year, mostly to SeaWorld, at least to, down to San Antonio. And then I studied abroad, like when I was 12 or 13 for a few weeks. And I was in London when I was in school, when I was in college.
I remember that.
And so that early exposure to just international living and cultures and different things like that has always stuck with me. I firmly believe in it. I think many young people, especially like as you're developing as a young adult, it would be a beneficial thing to experience.
I agree.
So I mean, and honestly, I've been needing breaks, man. I mean, I just
right.
We all get, and there's the whole conversation of we burn ourselves out as Americans and we don't take the time to rest and do all that, which is mostly true. But I have always tried to be very diligent about going places. And even if it's like when my sister moved to California, I would go out there at least twice a year just to get away. And of course see her, but just to get out of
you too.
Look, and I love Dallas. Love it.
Me too.
But I be needing to get out of here.
Yeah.
And it's just something, it's also, I think in my mind, it's something to look forward to. So I work for 2 months and I'm like, well, I know I got this trip booked. And so I'm working towards that. And we all know how it is. The days before you're about to go out of town, look, that is my most productive time ever.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be gone. I don't want you to bother me, ask me any questions. Right.
Okay. Be gone. So, and I'm like, I don't talk to me when I'm gone. Even though I'll be peeping, I'll be like, what's going on? But no, I just love travel. I think it's a great way to connect with yourself. It's a great way to connect with the people. Now you cannot travel with everyone, and I do not travel with everyone. My people. Yeah. And it is what it is. So but yeah, no, the travel stuff, I just I connected with someone and that helped me book a trip, and I'd asked her about it. This was right after the pandemic, and so she got me connected, and in part it was to just get better deals. So
okay.
Yeah, like as an agent, I can see what deals are available, special travel agent rates, and see what's kind of like, what's good for groups and vacation packages, cruises, all kinds of stuff. So it's just opened my eyes a lot to the business aspects of travel. How flights and the resorts work, when you're getting a package, how those prices vary, things like that. So it is a learning curve. I've had to do a lot of trainings and how different companies see their product and how you can market. So it's something I'm still like learning about, to be honest. Because my full-time job is so busy a lot.
Yeah.
And I serve at church. I've had personal transitions and things. So at this point, I, as people are, know about it and want to contact me, I'm happy to craft an experience for anyone that wants to book ahead, book into something at the last minute, book a family trip, book a birthday trip, all kinds of stuff. So, definitely open to whoever wants to get in contact with that. If you're interested in being a travel agent, I can connect you with that as well. And, but it's fun. It's good to kind of be in the know when it comes to travel. So,
I love it. So would you say, what's the one thing that now being on this side of it that you maybe could look back, or you would tell someone who's interested and you say, oh, I wish I knew this piece going into it?
Into being an agent? Well, so how you market yourself is really interesting. And obviously, that having your business and projects and stuff like that, that is not something that I am good at, like doing.
Really? Now you may not like doing it, but I think you're good at it.
I can definitely do it for other people.
But you mean just for yourself?
Oh.
Really?
I'm just not that type of person.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
But I'm such a behind the scenes person. Part of me doing this was also to see if I was honestly capable, right? If this was a part of me that was actually hidden, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could talk about myself and I could do, but I just don't like it. It's not comfortable, so that's really the mindset I have when it comes to my business and travel is, I tell the people I know, I announced it. And, as people like have a good experience or just talk to people, they're like, oh, I know somebody. I'm definitely okay with that. It is not something I got into to make a ton of money by any means. But really, I just wanted more exposure to travel opportunities and to be more informed about the business itself, because I talk to so many people and they're like, well, I don't have the money to travel, or I don't know where to start. And and I just believe in that experience of life so much, and being exposed to different parts of the world, because if you've ever been overseas, you understand how big the world is.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
It's much bigger than just
it's
your
just
area.
so much bigger. And especially being American, like, woo, what we think about ourselves is not how they see us.
Right.
Or being a Black American in other countries where there are Black people, but they look at you a certain way.
Yeah.
Whether either or other country. I was in Greece this summer, and let me tell you what, they were like, oh, Black women, beautiful.
Oh, they look. Oh, really?
Oh, they look. I could have stayed. Okay.
Hey.
I came
You would have
back.
been like, hey, you're gonna have to come to Greece
You
and
have
hang
to
out
come
with
to
me.
me, okay? Sunsets alone, I wanted to stay. And then the Greek man was just talking sweet, okay? They were talking so sweet. Like, they don't talk to us like this over here, okay? I ain't heard this in a while. What you say? What you say?
Say it again.
Yeah, say it. I'm gonna record you. So
right.
Yeah. So I mean, you just get exposed to, and like I said, I got that exposure so early in life that I may kind of take it for granted, but I would love to be able to help more people experience that and to not be afraid of it, because a lot of people are, and it's not without reason, right? We see all the stuff that's going on in other countries, and it can be scary, but there is a way to travel and travel smart and travel safe. So if you do those things, you can still have such a great experience and come back and have stories to tell, have memories, have pictures, and then you're just like, oh, I have to do it again. I have to do it again. And in that way, even when we talk about finances, it's like, well, then what are you earning money for? Because you do want to save. Yes, of course, you want to take care of your bills and all that stuff, but you also want to live. So it's like, okay, well, if I got my salary, I'm putting my savings, I'm paying my tithes, I'm taking care of my bills, but I got this goal, or I'm trying to go to, Iceland in 2025. Then I'm starting to save up for that, and that's my goal. And that just gives, I think, more purpose to when we're grinding and we're working so hard. It's like I also am working towards something as well. So for myself, not just for people, but for myself.
I think that's really key what you just said, because I know, and maybe a lot of other people feel this way too, but I know especially since the pandemic and just seeing how fragile life can be.
Yeah.
And not like I didn't know it before, because I did, but I think just kind of seeing it more in real time, it's almost like it made me double-minded in a sense, because it's like you want to be practical and, like you said, you want to save on one end, but then on the other end, it's like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this, whatever this is, because you literally don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah, and we know that on a very personal level. Yeah. And I think about that often, because that was one of his goals, was to go out of the country. And so like when I think about us traveling and doing things, in part it's in honor of him, and still being able to experience life while we are here, because you're right, we do not know. And that's a mindset it's a mindset not everybody is ready for
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But again, the more you understand the fragility of life, and also depending on your faith or whatever you believe, for me, I know I'm only here for a time. So, I don't know how long that is, but if I make it to 90, as my grandmother is, I'm gonna be grateful and thankful. I'm gonna need somebody else's children to take care of me, but I'll take care of them too.
Right. Me too. Am I right?
Right. We'll get our compound together. We're gonna
right. Hey,
we'll be fine. I'm not worried about it at all.
Yes. Yes, for sure. But yeah, that's so true. I think that's a great note to kind of wrap up this conversation too, is just being grateful for what you have, wanting to have experiences. And I think that's really beautiful what you said too, like even doing certain things or certain experiences for people who aren't here, or for people who wanted to do those things and maybe didn't get a chance to. So that's really dope. I love that. I love that. So I can't let you go without playing this game, Dead in the Water. So for those of you who are just tuning in, or maybe you're just listening for the first time, Dead in the Water, this game is a this or that game. It's 5 questions, and I try to tailor it to each guest. So some of the questions are maybe a little general, but there's a few in here that definitely were made with you in mind. So, so instead of telling me which one you like the best, you'll tell me which one is your least favorite, or which one you would basically throw back in the water.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, it's 5 questions. You may feel that you can't throw either one of them away, and that's fine. If you decide, that's how you feel about it. So,
okay,
let's see. We'll go ahead and do this first one. So I'm really curious to see what you're going to say about this. All right. So the song "Dangerously in Love," the Beyonce version or the Destiny's Child version? Which one's got to go?
What'd you say? My least favorite moment in our whole relationship.
You said it's your least favorite. Why is that?
Moment? Because why you make me choose? Oh no!
Somebody KK Short says hi.
Hi, I don't know. Hey. Oh, okay. Look,
hey.
This is my first time on time.
Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. KK Short.
Oh. Honestly, look, this may be a controversial take. I know they're different, but if we're being honest, we all know Beyonce sang most of Destiny's Child version as well.
Yeah.
So we might have to call it even.
To be honest with you, I would say even, or I would really lean more towards Destiny's Child just off of principle.
Yes, that's
because I don't want Beehive start stinging me in the middle of the night, but I kind of didn't like. I've never really liked that a Destiny's Child song was
I agree.
Remade, and this is your introduction to your solo career, basically like ripping one of their songs.
Which made it so obvious that she was singing most of the.
Yes, it did.
The levels in the background on the song, right?
Yeah.
It was so because it doesn't sound. I mean, there's differences, but it doesn't sound
that different.
Yes. So I'm with you in terms of the principle of it as well. But thank you.
Yes. So KK's Short says, "I love your glasses. They are really dope. I love your glasses too."
Thank you. I look at a computer screen all day, so. Okay.
Hey, no, I understand. All right. So the next one is a drink choice. Mm-hmm. So Mojito or Moscow Mule, which one are you throwing away? Is it both of them?
Moscow Mule. I can't stand no.
Really? You don't like those?
I don't like ginger beer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, if you don't like ginger beer.
Mint either. So.
So they both might hit the water, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So meeting or email, you got to do away with one forever. Which one would it be?
Okay. You know what? Meeting. Because personally, I am better with my words.
Mm-hmm, me too.
So I can type out very succinctly what I need to say.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's true. Because then they feel like they can respond. Maybe we could do emails with a cap, like a 3 response limit.
Yeah. Right. And I'm gonna send a voice note. We don't even need to meet. I'm gonna send a voice note. And
that's true.
This is what I mean.
Yeah. If you don't understand the email, follow it up with a voice note. Yeah, that's true. Boom. So easy. All right. So road trip or flight?
No, I want a flight. Go the road trip away.
You don't like road trips at all?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got burnt out when I had to drive back and forth from grad school in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
okay. I can see that. Yeah.
The only, and this is gonna be the only person I would do a road trip with at this point is my sister.
Really? No way. I think we could do a road trip. You don't think so?
Me and you. Okay, yes, me and you. Maybe some more of my friends too. But I just like to sing. I like. So
I don't mind because I like music too. So
Casey be like, "Use your inside voice."
Not your inside voice.
Yeah. The song is meant to be sung in the car.
Right. Out loud. Outside voice.
We were listening to Renaissance. We were driving somewhere. And she said, "You gonna flush this speaker?" I'm like, "What it's supposed to be."
It's what you're supposed to do.
It's why she made the album. Yeah, give me a flight.
Load of speakers. Give me a flight. Okay. All right. The last one: pizza or wings?
Oh, pizza. Definitely pizza. No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm missing. Go to wings. I want pizza.
Me too. Okay. Yeah, I would get rid of the wings too. Yeah, because I feel like there's so much more that you can do with the pizza.
Yes, and
put chicken on the pizza. Boom. Yeah, both.
With so much. The spinach, black olives.
Yeah, jalapenos, pepperoni.
I like if the crust is right. I like the crust.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, of course, it's gotta be.
I used to have a whole thing with wings because I gotta the strings and the things.
Yeah, me too. That's why I like boneless wings better.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, because if I bite into it and I see that little vein, it's a wrap. I'm throwing the whole thing away.
They be like, "You know that meat?"
I don't care. I ain't eating no veins.
Remember, I saw my grandmother suck it.
Oh yeah, the older generations, they don't play with them chicken wings. They don't play.
All the juice out of the marrow, everything. I'm like, in the gristle?
Yeah, no, I can't do it.
Right, you can't chew. You can't eat it. What do you?
Be chewing like, trying to get it. No.
Yes. And then when I get pizza with my godson, they be like taking a bite out. I'm like, nah, come up, wait, don't waste this pizza. Okay.
Yeah, no, wait. That's what you're not gonna do. Waste this pizza.
You touched it already. Eat the pizza.
Right. This is your piece.
Okay. Sit down. Eat the pizza. You don't waste bread in the car.
No, you can't do that.
Waste chicken strings.
Yes, waste those, but not bread. See, that's why we're here. Yes. Speaking of, so I got to tell everybody this quick story. I mentioned this maybe on another episode, but it doesn't do it justice because you were the person that I was talking about in the scenario. So I have to kind of bring this up again. So sorry, y'all, if y'all heard this story already, you're hearing it again. But speaking of food, I'll never forget my probate, and it was like Harambe, or maybe it wasn't Harambe, but it was like a potluck or something, like a Thanksgiving type potluck. And one thing I will say that I really love about you is, like I said, I'm wearing the pink and green and got the pink and green lights on, kind of more so to be like funny a little bit. But our relationship, I feel like, goes so much deeper, so much like that's just the surface. I mean, it's so much deeper in there. So when I first was in college and when I first crossed, a lot of my friends, female friends at least, were deltas. And it just happened to be that way. And so, and I was really tight with you, but it didn't have anything to do with you being AKA.
Right.
So I remember Arthur got on me so bad because first I was mad because I had to abandon my plate and get up and go do this show. And I'm like, can't we wait like 10 minutes? Like I can eat fast. I mean, give me 2 minutes. I this plate will be 75% done in 2 minutes. I guarantee. And he was like, no, you got to go. So get finished. And I remember in the front row, I think it was like the AKs were on this side and then the Deltas were on that side. But I think if I remember correctly, where you were sitting, you had to have been sitting maybe closest to them or kind of close to them, because I remember when I got done, I hugged you. And then what it looked like to everybody else was I hugged one AKA and all these Deltas. And so Arthur was like, so you really just gonna diss them like that? I was like, I don't know them like that. I'm like, I'm hugging who I'm cool with. So it's my friend. So it didn't have nothing to do with AK. So I feel like I had to share that story while you were here, because that's one of the funniest, like fondest memories I have of our friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
But they used to be like, and I was friends with the Deltas too.
Yeah.
And they be like,
like we are still people outside of this thing, right?
Don't get me in trouble here, but let me just friends are my friends. Okay.
Yeah, right.
It's always been the case with me.
Yes.
It's always been the case.
Exactly. Yes, but this has been great. So, well, I guess in closing, is there anything else that you want to let people know about yourself, or even just how to deal with Capricorns? Any word of advice? Anything like that?
We are, like I said, we are really loyal and we can tolerate a lot, but
I agree.
What you don't want us to be done. That's what you don't want.
Yeah.
You don't want us to
be gonna be cold, cut.
Look, I'm working on. Look, I can very much be passive aggressive, and I have to catch myself quite a bit. And how I, either write texts or ask questions or something like that. Like I'm matured. I have matured. But it was one of the criticisms I got a lot when I was like in my younger years, and it's something I'm more self-aware of now. But a lot of it is just because we also, this is not all of us, but we just be knowing, we know. We got an innate sense of the situation,
like intuition
and so but that there can be a lot of denial and not ready to admit a certain thing is gone because of that loyalty. So just I think being careful and appreciative of the Capricorns you have in your life, because a good majority of the time it's coming from such a loving, honest place of wanting to take care, of wanting to be, just make sure that you're good, and that that you can rely on us. So, but I'm getting older, so I can't be doing that for everybody. You better get us while we're young, okay?
Right.
Because if you ain't in yet, you're not probably not getting in, okay?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah. I feel like Capricorns are very. I don't think y'all live by this, but I think you identify with the idea of no new friends. Because you're not just gonna come. I mean, now I think Capricorns do make new friends. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But you most cases, you're not just gonna pop up and just be like, hey.
Look, him like when I see some, and it's so funny because my sister, she always be like, you don't like when I be hanging with my friends. I'm like, well, because I'm your friend. Like,
right. What
these
friends?
Also a little jealousy up in there, just a little.
Just a tad bit, a little bit.
We mask it as protection. You know, it is what it is. But
hey, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, but no, we are such lovable people. I love being a Capricorn. My birthday is in between. It's usually on the MLK holiday.
Yeah.
I'm turning 40 next year.
Hey.
I'm very excited. So, but after that, I'm taking a break. It's time for celebration because it's gonna be a lot.
Too much.
So, I love you, and I love you so much, Carlos.
I love you so much too. For real.
Whoever see this,
yeah. I love you too.
I got you. I got you always, like for real.
Yes. Same here. Yes. For sure. Well, yes. Thank you so much, Shelly, for gracing us with your presence tonight on the show. Really, really appreciate it. And for those of you who are still here listening at the end, I just want to give you another reminder that we will not have an episode next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. So y'all enjoy your family eating time or whatever you're going to do to celebrate the holiday. And the following Thursday, we will be back on regular schedule, but we won't be live. Actually, that episode was pre-recorded. So there'll be a live chat, but we won't be recording live. So make sure you tune in. That's going to be November 30th. And we're going to have a female Gemini. So really interesting topics. So yeah, make sure y'all check that out. So all right. Well, thanks again, Michelle. I really appreciate it.
Love you.
All right. Love you too.
Okay.
All right. Peace.